My girl Taylor Swift, she's a queen. She's preaching on Twitter about Danny Trump, our president, and just how much of a buffoon that he is, which shouldn't be news to anybody. So the big fear right now is how we are going to vote at in the fall in the big election, because the pandemic is still going to be going on. We're not going to have a cure or any sort of treatment for it anytime soon, which is unfortunate. So come election day, we are all likely going to have to vote by mail. And this is the friendly heads up to make sure you're set up to do that sooner rather than later, because it's going to be very difficult and very trivial to even do this. So Taylor Swift, all bringing up great points. I saw this on Consequence of Sound. Consequence of Sound is a great music website, entertainment website. I don't always agree with their media reviews, but that's because I'm biased. Like, we were just talking about Blink-182. If a new Blink-182 album comes out, like, I'm going to sing its praises, and they will be the more objective group, and if it sucks according to them, then they're going to tell you it sucks, and I'm going to be the one to be like, no, you're wrong, you're incorrect, because I'm a fanboy. Because I'm too forgiving. So but they do post some really good editorials too, and they brought to my attention this whole thing. So Taylor Swift calling out Trump on Twitter because Trump is pretty much trying to take down the United States Postal Service.
And he's not doing it like stealthily. He's like pretty obviously, like, and at least in my perspective, it's pretty clear what he's trying to do. He's always done this shit. He's like the kind of guy who'll just come out and admit that he did something shady, he did something illegal, and then he'll like pull like the Ice Cube from Boys in the Hood and be like, come at me. He did this when the whole Russian hacking the election, that whole to-do was going on, and he was telling people basically, come at me. Yeah, I did it, so what? Which, the fact that they allow the guy to be on Twitter, that's the worst. He's basically the equivalent of somebody who loves to poke the beehive.
Yeah,
that he loves to do that.
Trump would have been the guy. I had a wasp in my kitchen. Trump would have been the guy to just walk up and just grab it with his bare hand
and eat it.
Yeah, and eat it. There's I don't know if you saw this. There's a video of a guy that walked up to like a bee's nest, his front door. Yeah, grabbed it and then ate it. And he opened up his hand at one point and there were dead bees in his hand, and then he just shoved the thing in his mouth. The consensus was he was on something. He had to have been.
Yeah, because he was like yelling afterwards. Which is actually the appropriate response of not yelling in pain or anything, but like, yeah.
The Consequence of Sound article, citing a whole bunch of sources, including CNN, they say, for those unaware, President Trump recently admitted that he was holding up funding of the United States Postal Service, which has been removing mailboxes and sorting machines across the country because of mail-in voting. He then said he'd only compromise on funding the vital service if Democrats caved on Republicans' demands for COVID-19 relief. Fuck you. One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, dude. And just the fact that he's aware, he's like, well, people are gonna vote by mail.
Yeah.
But they need funding. So what if they don't get it?
Yeah, he's pretty much Dr. Robotnik at this point. He's like a mad scientist. He knows what steps to take to switch everything around and make it in his favor, right? Like, he knows that if he knows that mail-in voting, vote by mail, all this, because of the pandemic, is
we're going to have to do it by necessity in November. So what better way to secure the popular vote than by shutting down the United States Postal Service?
There's just something amazing about this conversation happening this music.
Yeah. What better way to just sabotage it for Biden? Because his supporters are going to be dumb enough to go out, because polling places are probably still going to be open, and his supporters are going to be dumb enough to go out and risk getting sick to go vote. It's just what's going to happen. So it's just the way things are going now.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't figured it out yet, because part of me is like the way that he is talking. He's making it kind of like I'm kind of afraid to vote by mail, because it makes it seem like he's gonna do something. But then it seems like some places are closing down polling, like in-person voting.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know which way I'm going to get screwed over. I don't know if I'm going to be able to vote, because if I vote by mail, he might do something shitty. If I vote in person, he might do something shitty. And I feel like a lot of other people might have that same feeling, which is probably overreacting. And I just probably need to do my research more, because I'm seeing people post on Facebook. There is a way to make sure, and not do it through the United States Postal Service, but you can do it. I've been seeing it. I don't know if you've
carrier pigeon. I haven't seen it. This is all news to me. So,
I should have looked it up before, but right now I have my phone. You can't see it because it's not going to adjust, but my phone has the Taylor Swift tweet, because I found it on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I was like, oh wow, she was just like basically calling him out.
As she should.
Awesome.
As she should. And because she's also riding the high right now of her absolutely fantastic folklore album that just came out. Song of the Year, Exile, featuring Bon Iver. And anything that she does at this point, it's almost like Oprah's book club, right? The second Taylor Swift opens her mouth, all eyes and ears are going to be pointed at her. And she knows that anything that she says is going to be picked up and ran with. So she can't pull a Shia LaBeouf, basically. She has to be smart. And she's being smart. I think she's being smart. And
I like her.
Oh yeah. I mean I was a Taylor naysayer up until 1989 came out, and then my tune changed because I listened to it. I'm like, I don't know how I feel because I really like this, and then I just said fuck it.
She's a good musician.
Oh yeah.
I will admit it. And I like a lot of her songs. Fight me. I did find online that somebody posted, and this is, again, I will state that this has not been checked, so I can't really say if it's newsworthy, but
okay.
People can do research on it. Is 1, request a mail-in ballot. 2, do not mail it. 3, Google your supervisor of elections and see where you can drop off your mail-in ballot. It's usually not the polling places.
And I mean, it can't be now. I know for a fact my polling place is going to be open. It's a church that's been closed since the day the lockdowns happened. And I feel bad because I have a sign, like a laminated sign on the doors that say, we'll be reopened. And there's the initial date that they typed out, and then they crossed it out. And then they put down a second date that they hand wrote with a Sharpie, and then they crossed that out, and then they just wrote underneath indefinitely.
Classic.
So I don't think it's going to be, not to mention it's all like 80-year-old people running the show when you go to vote. So they're not going to be there. They're not going to be in person. They're not going to risk their health.
That's the scary part. It's just it's old people.
So
old people. Those old people.
Try to find a way to vote. That's the crux of it. Try to find a way to vote in November.
Yeah, I wish I could have. I had somebody else, that was from somebody else that I knew posted it, but I know somebody else posted a link that links to your state, and it shows where the address is per county or wherever you live.
Yeah.
Like, shows where to go for this place. It lists the address that you go to.
Yeah.
So it's nice. So I guess you can look into that. And I mean, it's really a good idea, I think, overall, when you hear an opinion or any kind of information online, to just do the research yourself.
Oh yeah.
You know, and look up. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, unless it's a medical condition, then don't do it.
Oh yeah, definitely that. It's good ad. But I also like looking up things that oppose my idea. Like if I think of something, I'm gonna like Google something that is the opposite of what I think to see what other people are saying about that. I think that's what people need to do.
I wish more people fucking did that.
Yeah.
I wish people were smart. Really quickly, you saw the news if you're local and you're in the Boston area. There was news that the USPS was going around picking up mailboxes, and that sent everybody into a panic because of the news that came out, because Trump is effectively defunding the Postal Service. And people were panicking about this when they saw it, and the USPS actually had to put out a statement saying the trucks going around picking up mailboxes, this is a routine thing they do. It's called replacing the mailboxes. Yeah. They age, they need maintenance, they get replaced from time to time, and this is the time to do it. So that's what's happening. But no one would have cared if this wasn't news.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah. So this Consequence Sound article goes on to say, many see Trump's crass handling of the situation as a corrupt attempt to sabotage the election. That's what I mentioned earlier. Taylor Swift posted on Twitter, quote, Trump's calculated dismantling of the United States Postal Service proves one thing clearly. He is well aware that we do not want him as our president. He's chosen to blatantly cheat and put millions of Americans' lives at risk in an effort to hold on to power. She then goes on to say, Donald Trump's ineffective leadership gravely worsened the crisis that we are in, and he is now taking advantage of it to subvert and destroy our right to vote and vote safely. Request a ballot early, vote early.
Hell
Goddamn
yeah.
right. Goddamn right.
I will say that I'm very sad to announce that I did go and see that post on Twitter. Not received well.
Of course.
Because people were like, you're fake. Like fake news, and so that's all everyone was saying is like, stick to your music, honey, you're not really smart politically. And then other people said it's all the Democrats doing it, and just like that, a little light bulb lit in my head and said, I get it.
Yeah,
I get why people support Trump now, because all you have to do is say this one phrase, the Democrats are sabotaging him, and all of a sudden now everything that Trump is doing that is taking him down is all on the Democrats. So it's
sorry.
No, that's fair. So it makes sense. Donald Trump hasn't done anything wrong. It's all the Democrats.
It always is. Yeah.
That's me being facetious in case anybody wants to take that out of context.
No, that's you doing a great impression of
or that
2016 to present.
Yeah. So I get it now, and it's depressing.
Yeah. Now, this is sort of counterintuitive to what literally every Trump supporter and Republican pontificates. But if you want the real opinion, don't read Twitter comments, don't read social media comments. Go online, read the news articles. Mm-hmm. Read what the media is posting, because of course then the Trump and his supporters, everyone's going to come out fake news, yada yada, whatever. They're calling it fake news because that's where the real opinions are, because that's where the logical opinions are.
I will say that the media though has caused some issues, because when this first pandemic thing started happening, they were afraid that there was going to be a mask shortage, so they literally told Americans, don't buy masks. They don't work. They do not work. And I'm sitting here watching the news say this, and I said, what the fuck? Like, if masks don't work, why are doctors needing them?
Right.
Now, all online, people flooded all like Facebook, Twitter saying like, masks don't work, lol, like, made a joke of it. And then 1 week later, it came out saying, masks are helpful.
Yeah.
So now people are like, I don't understand what's going on. And most people who don't wear masks already gravitated towards that initial. So I kind of get it that the media is not really helping itself, because the media operates on an entertainment basis. Now, they're all like, we need to get the story out first. We need to beat that person to, or that other station to it. So they'll just report on things that they haven't even checked.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went on a little rant.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
But like, that's my understanding of like the way media is working this. And it's unfortunately, but I do agree with you. I'm not saying I disagree that you should, but get it from multiple sources.
Right.
That's the way to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because if multiple people are saying the same thing, then chances are.
Right. And that's why I like about this article here from Consequence of Sound is they went in and they linked to multiple outlets that were all saying the same thing.
Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I just blacked out for a second. Like I just went on a little bit of a tangent. That's
Black
like,
out in this day and age.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm hardly focused.
There you go. Yeah, let's go over here.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's Taylor Swift. That's Donald Trump. And yeah, again, any opportunity you can get to vote, right? And I know that in the end, it's down to the Electoral College and what they do. And a year or two ago, we were gung ho about making sure that it was Democratic controlled, but don't forget the election in 2016, the popular vote, a rare instance where the popular vote did not match that of the electoral votes. So,
No, it didn't.
So hopefully not another repeat of that, because I'm preaching to the choir here, but come on, man, I can't do this again for another 4 years.
I can't either. And I want to also add, I could be wrong about this, but please don't vote third party.
I mean, The Simpsons put it perfectly. I mean, you're throwing your vote away at that point.
I really think people don't understand that, though. I know that, you're voting for, you might not like both of them, but there's clearly one of them that's worse than the other. And it sucks. Yeah, I agree. It sucks that we're forced into that. You're forced to pick between the lesser evil, which I'm not saying I think Biden is, but a lot of people feel that.
Yeah, but he's a politician, though. I mean, that's the thing. And that's sort of like, I want to word this very carefully, why I don't necessarily, because people are like, oh, if anything happens to Trump, then with the succession of power, then Mike Pence takes over, and Pence isn't any better than Trump. But at the same time, Pence is a politician. Yeah, you can disagree with his views, but he's a politician, and he has these views because he's a politician. So he at least knows how to do that. That's more than Trump ever had, right? And Biden might be losing his mind. The man's a politician.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have that in place, and we'll talk about this in a moment. But even still, his VP, if anything goes wrong, at least his VP seems like her marbles are all there. So,
yep.
One can only hope.
Knock on wood.